Welcome back to Total Pole Sports. I'm Coach Hutchings here with Coach K, aka Bald Coach K. Coach, how you doing?
Everything's good. How we doing?
Yeah, man. Looks like you're doing great as always down there in Florida, man. It was a great day up here in the 50s, but still, I'd rather be down there. That's the one thing I miss about living down in Florida is any day you can walk out in shorts and a t-shirt and feel great.
Coach, I'm gonna tell you what, man. This is the time of year to be here. I know it gets really cold coming into February and stuff like that, but for us, 78 degrees, sunny all day. It's just, it's that time of year. I remember living in Richmond, Virginia. You'd go, 5, 6 months without really seeing the sun. So, yeah, we're at the tail end of a beautiful sunset here. So, yeah, man, life is pretty good, my man.
Yeah, and that's a good segue into a couple of our games where the sun is set on a few teams in the NFL. And I'll be honest, it was more like a total eclipse last night yesterday afternoon for those Eagles over the 49ers. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah, without a doubt.
As soon as Brock Purdy was done, the game was over.
Yeah, man. The backup quarterback, Josh Johnson, he could not even get a snap down. It was utter failure putting that guy in the game, It just, and if you're a 49ers fan, you've got to have a disgusting feeling in your stomach. What was it, the third series he was knocked out of the game?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until halftime they even got a good snap in. So, very disheartening, very disconcerting.
The official thing out of that is he has a torn UCL ultracollateral ligament. So I guess that's Tommy John surgery. I'm pretty sure.
Oof, yeah, wow, that's big time, especially for a team that really is just one player away. If you ask me, as far as playmakers and stuff, there's no team that's as loaded as the Niners. You got Debo, you got McCaffrey, you got Uak, you got Kittle. Feel really bad for those guys, man. They had such a tough season, and to get as far as they did with that, with Purdy in there, and for it to finish like that, on the flip side, if you're a fan of the team, it doesn't quite sting as bad when you get taken to the woodshed.
Yeah, especially having a backup quarterback do so well. And then you just have to kind of go through everybody. You had Josh Johnson, even Chris McCaffrey taking one. And that was the thing. Like, you had Chris McCaffrey, 15 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. He was set up for success, but at the same time, you don't have a quarterback to give that other side. You're going to run it with Chris McCaffrey. What do you got? You got inside zone, you got edge, you got your screens. There's not much that you can do when you have a backup quarterback in there that wasn't looking to play hardly at all. And you talk about Debo, you talk about Kittle, those guys only got 3 receptions each and didn't even break 66 yards between the two. So not much there. But I tell you who the standout guy was for me, and he was the week previously, was Hassan Reddick. It's like that's a guy for the Eagles that you just watch him play. He's going to come after you, and he just made them look bad.
Oh, yeah, and the timing that he had on the one sack, he damn near took the handoff right from the quarterback. It was something else. Yeah, man, those guys, they're playing with the hair on fire right now. Philadelphia Eagles are definitely a team to reckon with. They got to be going into this next game with a lot of confidence, but it's also their first time to the party, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And my favorite part about the whole game is it's going to be a battle of the Kelsey brothers, man. Those guys are some talented football players right there in that family.
Indeed. And, just thinking Eagles, it's been, what would they win, 2017?
Yes, sir.
It's been a while, and they had a crazy year that year with quarterbacks. Now that Jalen Hurts is back in, you can't go wrong with that guy. That was 15 25, 121 yards. Didn't have to do a whole lot. And when you think about just the defense, everybody was saying about how good 49ers defense was. They were number 1 defense in the league. Even I was saying it. I picked them to win, although slightly I was wrong as could be.
Yeah, those guys up front, man. Fletcher Cox is not even their best defensive lineman these days. So you got a stout D when you got that guy on there, and he's not even your top tier guy. But yeah, man, those guys they're playing together. You can. It's hard to really judge the game, when you're playing against literally a fourth string quarterback, and then a guy that can't even hold the football. It's hard to really get a good gauge of how good of a win that really was. I think if you're an Eagles fan, you're going to take them how you can get them. The next game is going to be very interesting because both coaches have coached at each place, so that's going to be really good. You got the Kelsey brothers, like I mentioned, so should be really good, man. And I don't know. This might be the battle of the two youngest quarterbacks to ever perform in a Super Bowl. It's got to be close. I know Jalen Hurts only 24 years old. Mahomes can't be much older than that. So, maybe we're seeing two guys that are the future of the NFL right now. So exciting times.
Yeah, and speaking of Mahomes, just in last night's game, he didn't look as bad as one would think after that ankle injury. You could tell it bothered him a little bit, but he was still spot on. 29 of 43 at 326 yards of passing, 2 touchdowns. He was the top guy of all of the quarterbacks yesterday.
Oh, without a doubt. And I want to give a big shout out to Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Right.
number 11 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He played at Lakewood High School back in 2012. Just phenomenal guy, man. When I first met this guy, he was lifting what I call big boy weight. He was over there lifting with the linemen's, and just this guy's tenacity and his fight. He was always one of the last guys at the gym, and it was just amazing to be around him at the high school level and to see what he's doing right now. Man, all I can say is I am not surprised, man. This guy is a grinder, and that's how a lot of the guys from the south side of St. Petersburg, when they get to that level, man, they're grinders. So it was really enthusiastic to see that guy just crush it for the whole area, for sure.
Yeah, he finished 6 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Just really went off. Same thing with Travis Kelce, 7 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. The weapons that Mahomes has on offense, they're going to be tough to beat. But if Reddick can get to Mahomes and really mess them up, I mean, I see it really could be anybody's game. I've got a whole family that roots for the Eagles, and right now after this, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to edge it out for another Super Bowl. But the Chiefs, they've been there multiple times. It's tough to call it right now this early. There's still a few weeks till the big game.
Oh, without a doubt, you don't know who's going to pop up on the injury report and stuff like that. But yeah, it's one of the rare years where you get pretty much the 2 top seeds finish at the very end, on top. We didn't see it last year. We didn't see it the year before. Last year I think we had the 2 4 seeds when it comes to the playoffs. So you don't see domination like that, but both of these teams have stepped up and dominate. I know Buffalo was kind of in talks for a little bit as being the top tier team. Looked like Cincinnati was right there with them, but yeah, it was all Philly and San Francisco on the other side. So to see these 2 teams pretty much, dominate from start to finish, man, it's been a heck of a season for both teams, especially with the injuries that the 49ers have gone through, from the quarterback position, going through 3 different guys here.
Yeah, and Cincinnati really had an opportunity to win last night and blew it, a few times, to be honest. But the main time was that 15-yard penalty at the end of the game to put them in field goal position. And you just got to be smarter than that, especially you're in the championship game of the conference. Penalties. I'm always been one to hate on the refs for many different reasons. But they were well within their right to throw that flag, and that sealed the ball game. You can't really base it off of one play. Cincinnati did a good job of holding them to field goals for the most part of the game, but you got to keep your composure. You got to hold it together, and Cincinnati just couldn't do it. I don't know if it was the fact that they had gone in there twice already and won, and maybe the frustrations were kind of letting loose, but there was a good opportunity for that game to go into overtime and let the best team win, but 15-yard penalty, that'll do it any day of the week.
Absolutely, Hutch, you called it. And one of my favorite coaches of all time, Coach Matt Bland there at LC Bird. He taught me one lesson early on in my playing career there that I've always sent it to anybody I ever coached. And he would always say, because I was playing offense, defensive line, he would always say, look, be a prick, but be a smart prick. And when you make a play late in the game like that, you got to know who that player is, and you can't touch that guy. So, you hate to see it come down to, a call. I didn't like the call myself. You just hate to see it. But on the other side, you got to know when to let up, especially when some of these guys, you sneeze on them and cough on them, and they're going to throw a flag all over you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they should know back well from Brady what happens, how many different rules they put on him. You got, Patrick Mahomes being the number one guy right now and making a ton of money. They're going to want him to go for another decade.
Right,
and
right.
You push him out of bounds, you get him hurt, you put him out, with injury, you're costing a lot of money.
Yeah, so, big time.
I think that's where it comes down to. And, you look at, I'm just trying to think of all the different stuff. I mean, that Joe Burrow got sacked 5 times in that game.
It seemed like they had him 4 times in the first half. I mean, It was, and that's what's disappointing on that side. From last year, they said, you know what, we've got a weakness up front. We're going to address it. And they hit it hard through free agency and the draft and everything. And, they're just one of those teams that guys unfortunately got hurt at the wrong time. And, it's that time of year where everybody's playing hurt. But you hate to see it factor late in the season. And, they end up kind of with the same problems that they had last year in that Super Bowl game. They just couldn't protect him, enough is what they needed to,
Yeah, agreed. And, anytime a quarterback gets sacked, you look at even Josh Johnson was only sacked twice. So you're talking your number one quarterback getting sacked 5 times. That's, no matter who you are, that's going to play with you mentally, especially in a big game.
Without a doubt, you're going to become trigger happy. You're going to want to get that ball out. You're not going to be able to focus enough. Your body's probably going to be aching a little bit, So, yeah, it's you just hate to see a game go like that. I'm with you, Coach. I would love to see that thing go into overtime. Both teams get a chance, and you see the best outcome. But unfortunately, what happened, and we're here to tell you about it.
Yeah, and can't finish this episode of the podcast without talking about the Travis Kelce lateral that was actually attempted 2 times in the game. If designed well, could have worked out well, but didn't necessarily net too many yards. But I think it just shows what teams are willing to do when you're in those positions to really pull every trick out of the bag, every rabbit out of the hat that you can to win these football games.
Yeah, you got to, you see something on film as a coach. You see something on film that tells you, hey, maybe we can attack this. And if it works, you're the smartest guy in the stadium. If it don't work, we don't want to talk about that play. We want to move on. What I'm saying? You got to have amnesia sometimes as a good football player and as a good football coach. You just got to have that mentality. But but Andy Reid, that guy, he can dial up some stuff. A few weeks ago, they were doing the old ring around the rosy deal that was pretty comical against the Raiders. So you never know what kind of tricks they're going to have up the sleeve. With 2 weeks in between this game, I can almost promise you he's going to have some tricks in the sleeve, and with Philly having that Philly special, they're going to have something too probably dialed up for the Chiefs. So should be some exciting stuff, and like I said, it's very rare that you had the 2 number 1 seeds play, in that championship game. So I think we all win as fans when that happens,
Agreed. I think when it comes to betting, again, remember, America, don't take any betting advice from us here on the channel, but especially since I went 0-2 versus Coach Old School recently. And it looks like we're having a little technical difficulties. Lost Coach K. There you are.
Sorry about that.
All good. But what I was getting ready to say was, how ridiculous some of these bets can be. And I remember back to the Peyton Manning safety to start the game, how that was something like plus 50,000. That happened. And
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect in 2 weeks. You could have the best teams out there and still craziness can ensue.
Yeah, without a doubt, you never know about those bets. Don't ever put more than you can afford to lose. You know what I mean? Just have fun with it. That's the best way to go about it. And I like some of the. I remember the one year where it was the Patriots were playing and Gronkowski wasn't playing, and one of the bets I placed was that John Gruden was going to say Gronkowski or Gronk at least 3 times. I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to do that. He did it in like one sentence. He said Gronkowski, Gronky, and it was funny. They timed the national anthem, and how fast that's going to take care of. So, it's just one of those where it's kind of a fun time to pick the boxes and stuff like that, get in the squares. And anybody have any squares y'all need us to get into, man, let me know. I want to get in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. We'll definitely do some totem pole stuff before the big game for sure. I just think back to it's like National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation, all the different bets that you can make on this Super Bowl. Like you mentioned, the national anthem, how many
coin
times
toss, you name it.
Yeah, I know I always bet the coin toss every year. Always have.
Tails never fails, right, Coach? Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I mean, I just think as we get closer to this game, more stuff's going to come out in terms of how these teams are doing. You don't know if you're going to have a full stack of people playing. There's all sorts of stuff. There's still, let alone COVID, but there's flu. There's all sorts of stuff. There's stomach bugs. You never know what's going to happen with these guys. They might go out and shoot hoops and sprain an ankle, something like that. It's been known to happen.
Do you remember Barrett Robbins? Coach?
Barrett
Robbins was the center for the Raiders, and one year they were playing the championship against the Bucks, and he didn't show up.
Yeah, back in 2001. Yeah.
Bucks destroyed them because they didn't have their starting center. Yeah, he went on some kind of binge, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Never know with Super Bowl.
Speaking of binges, right? I know we're talking NFL, but man, Stetson Bennett, we already hit on that the other day. But what's going on in his mind?
Man. Yeah, we've talked about it, Coach. You got to surround yourself with the right people. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm a lineman till I die. I hang out with the linemen, you know what I mean? And we're guys where we don't usually get in that kind of weird situations. If we do, hey, we set up blocking lanes and we get the heck out of there, right?
Yeah. He had nobody to carry him home. So we're hoping all is well with him mentally for sure. But just puts into perspective, you could be ready for a Super Bowl. You could be a national championship winning quarterback. You could be in any position, and how things can just change, no matter, good or bad, can just happen, right away. And there's tons of examples that we could talk about over the years where people have had really good things happen to them before Super Bowl and not so good things at all. And like I said, within 2 weeks, a lot of things can change. It's very similar to what happens in the bowl games and NCAA. Super Bowls, you want them to be high scoring affairs, in the 30 to 20 or something like that. But in my experience, I always feel like it's always a slow start. And sometimes you don't see, what you would see in a game in the middle of the season if those teams would have played against each other at full strength. So.
Absolutely, Coach. It's so hard to get momentum when, they want to do an hour commercial between every play.
Agreed. I've always hated that as a coach. Homecoming goes long.
You can't get no momentum.
Yeah. Any of those things we got. I remember we could talk about this a whole another podcast about how games have been botched from,
absolutely.
The people getting awards at halftime or renaming the stadium or, the homecoming court, all those things where you got, like you said, momentum going in and then you come out and everybody's dead because it's like, why has it been 45 minutes since we stepped foot on the field?
Man, absolutely.
So we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Cultivate Wellness. Make sure you check them out, cultivatewellness.com. They've got full spectrum. They've got isolate. They've got broad spectrum. They've got capsules, edibles, tinctures, you name it. Give them a call. Check them out. Make sure, always ask your doctor before you start any type of health regimen. But it's good stuff. My whole family's on it. They've all seen very good results. Biggest thing for me, neuroprotectant. And you know how crazy it is right now in the world with mental health. Well, if you can protect your neurons, might as well get to it. So,
Absolutely.
Coach K, I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you very much. Y'all like us, talk to us, send us messages. We want to hear what you think. Thank you guys so much. Stay blessed.
Total Pole Nation, thank you so much. We're at 50,000+ subscribers. That's incredibly a blessing. We really just can't thank you all enough. You see that we're growing, and we're continuing to keep on growing. We're going to keep trying to put out as much content as we can for y'all to get the quick bites of the sports world. And we really do appreciate it. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that share button, and we will see you guys in the future. Thanks again, Total Pole Nation.